This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real. Welcome to TBL.
Welcome to TV.
Welcome to TBS. Today's special, my feelings. I'm in again for Tori. Tori, we need you back. We need you back. But we're already talking, guys, about last night's Golden Globe. So who watched?
I watched.
Oh, we all did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Al?
I watched. Even though I had a show last night, I still watched. So, yeah.
Good for you,
Yes.
buddy. Way to start the
Dedication.
new year. Way to start the new year. Well, in case you didn't watch, we've got you covered. So Steven Spielberg and his film, The Fabelmans, won big for Best Motion Picture Drama. On the TV side, Abbott Elementary won a number of awards, including Best Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. The White Lotus also took home the top honor for Best Television Limited Series. But everyone is talking about host Gerard Carmichael. He had a very difficult job, all due to a racism scandal, which meant the show didn't air last year. But was he funny? Here's some of his opening monologue that addressed the elephant in the room. Let's take a look.
Really? I'm here because I'm black. This show, the Golden Globe Awards, did not air last year because the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which I won't say they were a racist organization, but they didn't have a single black member until George Floyd died. So do with that information what you will.
What, if I was an audience, like, do you laugh at that? Was he funny, Al? Did he take risks? Does that equate to laughs?
Here's a weird Gerard story. When I was performing in Indianapolis probably like 8 years ago, and there were two clubs there. And I went to the club Gerard was at. He was a young comic at that point. I didn't know him, and I thought he was so funny. I remember calling my manager. I was like, hey, there's this young kid down here. He's hilarious. You should sign him. And he's like, he's taken care of. Like, he was already on a track at that point. And, you know, this has been Gerard the entire time. If you watch his special Live at the Store, which Spike Lee directed on HBO, it caught a lot of people off guard because Gerard is not like set up, punch, set up, punch, set up, punch. That is not how he does it. It's more, and I don't want this to sound like shit, it's more like a funny TED Talk. Like, he's got so much information in there, and their jokes intermingled in there. So I think as he takes his time and goes through his monologue, I think it's something we've never seen before, but it's a different way to host a show. And I mean, I think anything post-pandemic, let's do something different. So proud of my homeboy. I've known Gerard for almost a decade. I can't believe between him and Janelle James, like, those are my homies. Like, they're at the Golden Globe. I'm like, how did we do this? But yeah, so it was not surprising to me, but I could see how people that were new to it were kind of taken back, like, kind of what, like you said,
Yeah.
Jeff, like, hey,
Well,
like, yeah, you don't know.
right.
Yeah.
I think I like the way that you broke down the different styles of being a comic, because I think that's very important. To me, I think it took a bit of flexibility of thought in order to really understand, like, what he was saying. I know a lot of people were upset about the Whitney Houston joke, but I didn't find it to be a joke. I thought that it was a very interesting thing to say at the Beverly Hills Hotel, or the Beverly Hilton?
Beverly Hilton.
Beverly Hills, yeah. But I thought it was very interesting because if you'll remember, the night that Whitney Houston died, Clive Davis continued to have the pre-Grammy party, which in juxtaposition to what we just saw on the field in the NFL when the entire, with DeMar, the entire game was halted, that to this day still doesn't sit right with me that people were partying downstairs before the coroner even got there to pick up Whitney's body. So I thought that was very thought-provoking. The reference to Tom Cruise and Scientology, Shelley, okay, I'm gonna mess up her name.
Don't look at me.
Miscavige, thank you. Shelley Miscavige,
yes.
Who was the wife of the head of Scientology. She's been missing since 2007. Leah Remini had made reference to her in the hashtag Where's Shelley. So there were a lot of things that made people kind of think. I wouldn't say it was meant to be funny
Comedic, yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, write us in. Let us know what you think. Funny or not. So one of the bigger themes of the evening, older actors who maybe thought their careers were over that won awards last night. So Michelle Yeoh won for Best Actress for her role in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Her co-star in the film, Kiwi Kwan, also won for Best Supporting Actor. In his speech, he talked about his success as a child star in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, wondering if his luck had run out. Clearly, it has not, buddy. So Angela Bassett was the first Marvel star to take home a Golden Globe for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This is her second Golden Globe. She won back in 1994, if you remember. And check out what Jennifer Coolidge had to say when she won her award for The White Lotus.
Just you've given me a new beginning. Even this is the end, because you did kill me off, but it doesn't matter, because even if this is the end, you sort of changed my life in a million different ways, and my neighbors are speaking to me, things like that. And no, I mean it. None of those people. I was never invited to one party on my hill, and now everyone's inviting me.
Favorite speech of the night, for sure.
It was amazing.
Yes.
She's epic. And Michelle Yeoh, absolutely fantastic. She's just got a documentary about herself, her life, her success, where she's at now. I highly recommend you watch it. And also Angela Bassett, what an icon. And her talent speaks for itself. That's why she's been in the industry for so long. She deserves all the accolades. And this is why I love watching award shows. When you listen, especially to Angela's speech and how she struggled and with the ebbs and flows of the business and how she's kept going and the perseverance and, with people that have stood by her, that's what I find really inspirational. That's why I like watching these, for those little moments like that where it makes you feel really good.
Relatability.
I love that. I love that. The show also had special honors for two Murphys. First, Ryan Murphy got the Carol Burnett Award. He dedicated most of his speech to highlighting LGBTQ plus actors, including Billy Porter, Niecy Nash, Matt Bomer, Jeremy Pope, and MJ Rodriguez. Then Eddie Murphy was honored with the Cecil B. DeMille Award, but everyone is talking about the joke he made. Take a look.
Pay your taxes, mind your business, and keep Will Smith's wife's name.
Listen, we knew it was coming. We knew someone was going to drop that first bomb, right? And was it going to be at the Golden Globes or was it going to be at the Oscars? If anyone's going to do it, I think Eddie needs to take the reins on that one.
Eddie needed to take it, and Steph, what I always say is when there is a tragedy, and I consider that was a life-changing, terrible moment we saw on TV, you're not ready to get over it until you can make a joke about it. Mm-hmm. And it's whether somebody passed away or whatever it is. You have that grief, and then what's sitting there right underneath there is humor. That's where a lot of humor comes from. So we needed that release valve, and I'm glad Eddie did it. It needed to be said. It's a little uncomfortable, but Eddie kind of took the air out of that balloon. So now when people address it, we can act like it's, just something that happened, and we can acclimate to it.
Let me ask you, Al, because we're rolling up on a year since the slap, and we have not officially heard in a major forum. I know that Chris Rock has a Netflix special, which is actually going to be the very first live streaming event in March. So as a comedian, do you feel like it's taken him too long, that the air has already been sucked out of the entire equation at this point?
Normally it would be the way that the news cycle works, 3 days and it was what were we talking about? But that was such a monumental moment in television history between two A-list stars, arguably at the apex of their careers at a certain, if you look at it like that. And for it to get physical, to it to seem kind of come out of nowhere, I think we'll wait 10 years to hear what he had to say about that. So the fact that we have to wait till March is nothing for me. I think everybody, that would be the lead story on the show when we do it, when that airs, everybody wants to hear what he has to say and hear kind of how that came about, because we're all still kind of in the dark, how did we get from that joke to this? And so we all just need to hear from Chris, and then we can move on.
Well, I'm glad Eddie was the first to take that shot.
Shout out to Eddie.
Coming up on DBL, we're going to keep talking about the Golden Globes, of course, with the best and worst dressed of the night. What does our resident fashionista Stephanie Jones think? Plus, do you think Austin Butler is still talking like Elvis after playing him in a film? His voice is totally changed. Was it change in real life? I don't know. We're going to talk about it.
It's a new year and DBL is all the talk. Let's get it going. We had a lot to talk about last year.
I'm flexing every day.
And we're not stopping in 2023.
I'll see you guys on the flip side. comes
It'll
first?
probably be, I don't
The
know when the
Oscars
Oscars
are
are
in
this
February,
year.
aren't they?
Probably. It kind of changes every year,
Okay.
but
So
probably late
so
February.
the Oscars
But
will
if that
be
comes
first.
out early March, it's pretty close.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm not as excited to hear from Chris Rock. I think
Don't you
also.
think as the Oscars come up, though, that's going to be brought up?
Oh,
No,
Yeah.
for sure. But also, there's been a lot of like prominent leaks about some of the things that he's talked about. Not specific things that he's talked about in his act, as he's like
Right.
working out material, but the feel of it.
Right.
That people have been having a lot of discussions about. That how people
When you say
forget.
feel, what do you mean feel?
So there's always been a criticism with Chris
my
Rock
flag.
about the way that he ebbs and flows in and out of blackness and the culture. And there's been a lot of, very respected people within the culture and community who have given their commentary based on seeing the act. And they've done it in a way where they haven't said exactly what was said necessarily, but given the feel of what the overall sentiment was in the room.
Yeah.
So I feel like some of those things have taken away from it. Like, I'll definitely watch in March, but I'm not like super chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be one of those rare specials where people are coming into it already with some preconceived thoughts
Right.
about who he is and what he's going to talk about. And if he go wherever direction he goes, to be like, see, I knew he was going to do that, or I'm glad he did that.
Yeah.
But comedy is a lot about the element of surprise. So the fact that people are sitting down kind of waiting for something, it is going to be a different feel to the
Yeah.
whole special. So.
Well, also, it's going to be the first time that it's a live Netflix streamed event. So
I didn't even know it was live.
It's live? Is that filmed already?
Welcome back. So there are a few more moments from the Golden Globes last night that has everyone talking. Up first, Austin Butler won for Best Actor for his role in the film Elvis. But listen to his voice during his acceptance speech. Sounds like he's still channeling the king. Take a look.
And lastly, Elvis Presley himself. You were an icon and a rebel, and I love you so much. Thank you. You are remembered, and I will never forget.
That was good timing with that sound up, so good job, Booth. Is that really how he normally sounds? Here's how he used to speak in his explanation for why his voice has changed.
I love 90s grunge style. Red flannels and ripped up jeans and leather coats and stuff. You couldn't be more excited.
I don't know, when you live with something for 2 years and you do nothing else, you can't help but it becomes a fiber of your being, you know?
Let's talk about that for a quick second. So his voice has definitely changed. I don't want to move on to Brad Pitt.
And leave that man alone. He found something that worked for him. He's not going back. Okay? Leave him alone. Let him be Elvis 2.0.
Would you listen? Here's my explanation of why he was in that role for 2 years, right? Obviously, that's not how he originally sounded. But maybe it's got to be nerve-wracking. Steven Spielberg's right there, James Cameron, Brad Pitt's front and center, right? Maybe being in that role for so long, you go to that comfort zone as an actor, right? And you kind of fall back and you're just like, oh my God, there's Brad Pitt. How everybody doing out there? You know, like maybe it's a nervous something, right?
I completely agree. I think like we hear about this, like certain actors, they get so absorbed in a role. Like Lady Gaga refused to speak outside of her Italian accent for a long time when she was in the Gucci movie for 2 years, I think it was, because she was so in the character and she didn't want to break Patrizia's character. So maybe it's like that, and like it's a comfort thing. Like he knows he's done really well, he's winning awards for it, and like you said, all of his peers are sat there watching him, so he's just like, be the best version of myself and Elvis that I can be, channel the king.
Yo, I think it's like when somebody said like you change your hair or something, and somebody who you really are feeling, they're like, yeah, you look great like that. Yeah. Your hair's not going back. Yeah. Not for a long time.
Did you guys not get Madonna vibes? Like the way she kind of just adopted that kind of English accent? And it's like it happened definitely to me when I lived in New York and I went back to Cleveland. And my boys are like, why are you talking? I was like, yeah, what's up, son? Cleveland Heights, bro. Like, what are you doing? So, like, yeah, I could definitely see it. Like, when your environment changes and you hear, if your ear picks up things, I could see it happening.
It definitely happens. When I go back to Chicago.
What about you with Jordan? Because she has a Southern accent.
I might fire out a y'all once in a while, but not really. I don't feel comfortable. But it's weird when you go back to your roots, kind of. Like when I go.
You mess me up. You have messed me up for the past 6 years.
When I go back, it's trouble.
I can't, like, my voice has always been the same, but ever since we started working together, I just automatically, like, yeah, I got to pick up my backpack, like, things like that, where I'm like, shove this in my head.
And you worked so hard to get rid of it. I did not.
Just, you know.
It happens. It happens. Well, we were talking about Brad Pitt. He was sitting front and center last night with his Babylon co-stars that included Margot Robbie, but it seemed like he was a big distraction for people on stage. It wouldn't be for me. Austin Butler thanked Brad during his acceptance speech, calling him his hero, and Quinta Brunson completely stopped her speech for him. Let's take a look.
Comedy gives us all the same laugh. Hey, Brad Pitt. And right there.
Listen, I said it'd throw me off. Would it throw you off?
Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Al, would someone throw you off up there?
Yes, but I just wouldn't look at them. What I do is, like, when somebody's famous in the audience, I look over their head, so it looks like I wouldn't look, because Brad Pitt, I'm gone. What about you?
I think that's normally I'm not a Brad Pitt hater. I think he's a fantastic actor, but I'm always like, oh, he doesn't really do it for me. Last night he looked sensational. He looked sensational last night. I don't know what he's like, cleaned up his hair. I don't know. Maybe the aging is just really working on him right now.
Ooh.
His look last night was fabulous.
And that's
very, very, very handsome.
Speaking of looks, we're going to talk about looks coming up next. So coming up on DBL, from Jennifer Hudson to Billy Porter, we're talking all about the looks, like Steph said from the Golden Globes last night.
Cupcakes, pancakes, omelets, any recipe calling for eggs seems to require a little extra lettuce right now. Queries for why are eggs so expensive are a top search topic online. So is the price of eggs going up, and why? Let's verify. We turned to several sources that confirmed yes, on average, a carton of eggs costs you a lot more than typical. The USDA charts egg prices across the country. 2022 ended with the average cost for a dozen large eggs nationwide at $5.40. That's about $4 more than at the beginning of the year. And that's not even considering the typically higher-priced varieties like free-range organic. Chris Mullins with Virginia State University explains the two main reasons: an outbreak of avian flu that's devastated flocks and farms. The USDA has confirmed cases in nearly every state in the country since October.
So that's been the big factor that's really caused a shortage of eggs.
And the increased cost of grain, fuel, and other resources that keep farms going.
If we are in an inflated state and prices are higher, that coupled with the less layers and less potential eggs is a perfect storm.
The newest USDA report out this week shows 2023 began with a dip in egg prices overall. Locally, we're talking about $4.65 for a carton of large eggs, still about $2.80 more than the average price over the last 10 years, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data. But Mullins points out, headed in the right direction.
We hope to see that downtrend to continue, that we see that maybe through the first quarter here in 23, it'll start to really go down.
With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back. We can't talk about the Golden Globes without breaking down some of the fashion. Steph, who stood out to you?
All right, well, Jeff, just like the Golden Globe statue itself, there were a lot of glittery gowns on the red carpet, starting with one of the icons, Jennifer Hudson, who looks stunning in this gold metallic mirror-tiled dress by New York designer C.D. Green.
I could see Erica in that.
Oh, yeah, actually, yes, totally. She'd rock that. And Golden Globe winner, icon again, Angela Bassett. She's 64 years old. Crazy. She looked confident, glamorous in this silver sleeveless dress. And then one of my favorites, Michelle Yeoh, brought her A game with this strapless midnight blue Armani Privé gown with a tiered sequin skirt that was covered in crystals.
I like how she teeters between young and old.
Oh,
she's
like they say, Asian don't raisin. Like she is.
I never heard that.
She's gorgeous. I'm telling you, I am here for it. I love her and her outfit. And Niecy Nash slayed in this plum bejeweled Dolce & Gabbana gown with matching taffeta cape. But reviews were mixed about Heidi Klum's silver and purple feather mini dress. Some people thought it was terrible. Others thought it was perfection. I think it's Heidi Klum. She can dress like a worm and still look good.
I love it.
So, I mean, I'm here for it.
She took a shot.
I mean, she looks great.
Yeah.
How many people could pull that off? Hardly anyone. She's incredible. And then other trends were ruffles. So we saw Julia Garner wearing this pink gown with a tiered ruffled skirt and a small train. Then we've got Michelle Williams. She took ruffles to a whole other level in this creamy white Gucci gown. I really didn't like that one, unfortunately.
It's like a wedding cake.
It's a bit much, isn't it? It doesn't work. And then we've got Jenna Ortega from the hit show Wednesday. Total Gucci goddess in this light brown drapey dress. It's kind of like a gingery colour, and her hair colour, the Tiffany jewellery, fabulous. MJ Rodriguez looked stunning in this layered blue satin dress. That colour was made for her. And then we've got Billy Porter. Now, he resurrected his velvet tuxedo gown that he wore to the Oscars a few years ago and showed up in a replica, but this time it was fuchsia instead of black. I love Billy Porter, but I just think he's so creative and he can literally do anything. I'd have liked to see something a bit different.
Well, Ryan Murphy explained that in his speech. He wanted him to wear the old one instead.
Yeah.
He wore the same one, but just a different color. So he did that for Ryan Murphy.
I get it. I just hit the very sweet of him, but he's such an icon. He can really push all boundaries, can't he? And Donald Glover also had a different take on a tux. So some people called it an elevated silk robe. I think he looks great.
I love it.
Looks like it's like a really fancy taekwondo teacher, doesn't he?
That's an owl. That's an owl outfit.
And
Oh man.
Seth Rogen always looks cute, and I love this rosy pink tuxedo.
That's a Jeff outfit right there.
So cute.
You would wear that?
I might.
I think it's really cute. I love
Dumb and
it.
Dumbery,
It's
but
spring. It's nice.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Then we've got Emma D'Arcy from the House of Dragon. They wore this oversized tux with purple gloves to match their purple hair. It's quite dark and gothic, and it's giving me like "Don't mess with me" vibes. I'm going to set my dragon on you.
I definitely see that a little bit.
They.
It's like dark school of rock.
Yeah, they are definitely like, don't mess with me.
That's a Sam vibe right there.
Oh,
that's a Sam Shocker
could pull
vibe.
that off, I think, for sure, yeah.
Which one were you guys' favorites? Did you have a favorite out of those?
I was going to comment on Seth Rogen's tuxedo because when you see it in motion, I think against that pink, it does make it look a little cheaper, like you said, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
But when you see it in motion, it's very chic.
Oh, I think it's so chic, even against that background.
That photo makes it look a little.
You got to wear those like 70 glasses like that I wore. If you rocked it out like full 70s style, I like it.
Like the aviators?
Yeah, big aviators, like maybe with the pink tint.
You also, yes, bro, of course, Jeff. You know, I'm with that. And I just, honestly, this is just the black man Midwestern in me. I need some pink gators with that. Just some pink 1978 Detroit pink gators with that.
Okay.
And it would set it off.
Okay.
We're just going to keep climbing the ladder till me and Al get to dress up for
That's
our
right.
show.
We're just, slowly pitching that idea.
There we go. We'll be right back.
As you try to get rich quick, be careful because scammers may be trying to get rich off of you. Let's verify. Are there lottery scams around large jackpots like the one in Mega Millions? Our sources are Mega Millions, Powerball, the Better Business Bureau, and the Federal Trade Commission. Scammers have a history of targeting people who play lottery games, including Mega Millions and Powerball. On its website, Mega Millions warns of one particular tactic: a phone call, text, or email informing that you've won and asking for either payment or your personal information to claim the prize. And you don't have to buy a ticket to be scammed. Mega Millions also warns scammers could claim to be past winners looking to share their money in exchange for information. Both Mega Millions and Powerball say they do not reach out to prize winners. The FTC and the Better Business Bureau say signs of a scam include being asked for personal information or to send money to pay fees or taxes on the prize. So, yes, there are lottery scams, particularly around large jackpot games like Mega Millions. Our sources recommend contacting your state's attorney general and the FTC if you think you've been scammed. You can report scams to the FTC by going to reportfraud.ftc.gov. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Bryan Kohberger made his first court appearance in an Idaho courtroom on January 5th after he was accused of killing 4 college students 2 months earlier. Leading up to his appearance, social media users began sharing Reddit posts that they claim were written by the suspect. The posts say, "I am inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime." The poster identified himself as Bryan Kohberger, and the posts were shared in subreddits like ex-cons and prisons. So, let's verify. Did Bryan Kohberger write the posts on Reddit asking for help researching why people commit crimes? Our sources are court documents filed in Leda County District Court in Idaho, DeSales University, and a review of Internet Archives of Reddit using the Wayback Machine. The posts on Reddit appeared in June and have since been removed from the platform. Prosecutors introduced an affidavit written by Moscow, Idaho police, which confirmed the Reddit posts were made by Kohberger. Using the Wayback Machine, we were able to look at the original post. They included a DeSales University email address for Bryan Kohberger. DeSales confirms Kohberger was a student there until 2022, where he earned his bachelor's in psychology and a master's in criminal justice. So, yes, Bryan Kohberger did post on Reddit asking for help researching why people commit crimes. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. If you're looking to remodel your bathroom, here are some things that you can do to help you get everything right the first time. We're talking about it in today's tips, sponsored by Jacuzzi. First, always get in a bathtub before you buy it. There you go. Next, do it yourself if you can. Hire a professional for anything you're not sure about, like electricity and things like that.
Do not touch.
That's right. And finally, most importantly, buy well, buy once. Spend a little extra on higher quality so you don't need to replace it later. That's a good one for me. And if you want to start your remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way with a spa-like experience. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Visit JacuzziBathRemodel.com or call 800-523-1523. All right, we only have like 20 seconds left. The lights went on, and I'm guessing it's for our cameraman, Ira's birthday.
Yes,
that's what's going on here. Ira, we want to wish you a happy birthday, buddy. Ira's been here since the beginning. We love you, buddy. You always bring great energy to the show. Happy birthday, buddy. We'll see you guys same place tomorrow.